Good evening and namaste. Welcome to Kaapi with Kudpi. We have a special guest today. He's come all the way from Ras Al-Khaimah, city in United Arab Emirates. And he is Dr. Raghavendra Bhat. He hails from Mangalore. He is the son of Dr. V.R. Bhat, the famous physician, and Meera Bhat. He has one sister by name Chitra Nayak, who is a doctor in the United States of America. He is married to Shobha, and the couple have two daughters. Both are doctors. His elder daughter is Geeta. She is an oncologist practicing in Canada, married to Dr. Rajanikanth, an ophthalmologist. And his younger daughter, Neeta, is an ophthalmologist who has married Viraj Wagle, an engineer, and both have settled in the United States of America. Theirs is a happy family. I know Dr. Bhat since the mid-1960s. When I joined Canara High School, Urva, he was 2 years senior to me. And maybe when I was in 6th, he was already in high school in 8th standard. But we were not that acquainted those days. He was more close to my brother, who is a contemporary of his, my brother Rajanikanth and him. Though he was 1 year senior in class to Rajanikanth, they share the same year of birth, that is 1955. Welcome, Dr. Bhat. As you know, Kaapi with Kudpi Malari. Ka ni pi mundu kauche ni piuche ekka kamam ka magirulloche kasamana distate tashi आजी कसं की गरकडक्याची खाणस केदांय गरकडक्याला खाणा मी दवरचे चडती हांतू भितरी कसं मरे एक 2 की बग हांव केला एक मेगा बायलेन केला तशी एक तुमकां कसं म्हळ्यारी एक आमगेले गांवची स्पेशल केळ्या हलवो तें केला वय हांवें केला
वेरी गुड वेरी गुड
आमगेले ताजमहल बारी फेमस आसा हलव्याक आनीक कसं म्हळ्यारी आमगेले हितलान तूं रामफल म्हणटाची ते तांबडे आमी सीताफळ म्हणून पेताची ते तुका दिवका म्हूण आशिल्लो हांव रुचीक जर ते कशें की ते फ्रूट मस्त मेळ्ळी आमकां मेळ्ळलें हरवें आशिल्लें पिकलें वगी पिकून हें जाल्लें तशी तुमी येतात मेळ्ळी तें तशें हांव ताजी हें करून दवरलां काजू कतली हय सो हांतू भितर टेस्ट मेळत तुमकां
थँक्स
हय आनी तिखशी खाणाक रवा इडली म्हळ्यार बँगलोर स्पेशल बँगलोरान तूं रवा इडली म्हळ्यार बारी स्पेशल ताजे वाटून हें पोटेटो सागू म्हूण आसा मागीर हें ग्रीन चटणी आसा कितली जावं तितली खावं येता मनस्पूर्वक जावन तुमी डॉक्टर तशें डॉक्टरांक आमी कशें सांगू ना ताजें फूड डायट रिस्ट्रिक्शन हें तें परत तुमकां सोडलें बट खावन एक समजलां म्हण जाल्यार आमकां खोशी ना म्हण जाल्यार आनी एक फावटी आमी सुदारशीत सम करताची म्हणून एक आश्वासना तशी सो डॉक्टर तुमगेले फॅमिलीचे आमकां फूड दाखोवन कॉन्टेक्ट आसा म्हाका म्हूण न्ही म्हगेलो अन्नाळ टायमा दाखोवन आमी आतां खावच्या सूर करया आतां आमी आमगेलें हें कंटिन्यू करया कॉफी थोड्या वेळान येता म्हगेले बायल उन करून हाडटा इथं म्हाका मंगळूराक अशी म्हळ्यार काण खावन जाल्यार काप पिवचें आमी काणावट पिवचें म्हळ्यार अभ्यास उणें तशें हांव तें थोड्या वेळान येता मागीर काप पिवया आमी
ओके खावचे फूड एक हांव म्हगेले एक्सपिरियन्स सांगता
हां
एक दीस 9 तारीख मार्च 2020 रस अल खैमा कोविड डिक्लेअर जालें पांय तुल्यान तुमी येवचेना ऑनलायन शिकोवपाक आनी पांय तुल्यान फूड सप्लाय ना तुमी तुमगेल्या पळोवन घेवका म्हूण म्हाका ऑनलायन शिकोवचें गोतना कुकींग ताजे फुडें गोतना हांव वचून सांगलें पांय दुखून हांव येना ह्या मजान जावचें न्ही हांव गांवा वता म्हूण तो म्हणलो गांवा वता कशें एरोप्लेन ना सो बायले फोन केलो वेगो म्हाका ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ कुकींग शिकय म्हूण शोभ म्हणाली आज ताईं कापी थंय कर न्ही तुका कसं कुकींग शिकोवचें म्हूण दॅट इज हाव आय बिगॅन माय एडवेंचर इन कुकींग टुडे ऑल दीस आय कॅन डू
वय नीड इज द मदर
ऑफ इन्वेन्शन आमी आतां रवा इडली चटणी पूण हांव करता हांव कोण करता अगेल चांग नाही
नाही आमगेले
मग कवच्या जाता तुगेल पुरो जण कवच्या जाता
नाही नाही आमगेले परिस्थिती दुसऱ्या कसं मारी आम्ही
Right.
पुरा चला चेडू आम्हाला ಚೆಲ್ಲಿ एकलीची मलगड मेगेले ती डॉक्टर वीणा इस्लोर म्हणून ती वगी वर्डीक जावन सेटल जाली सो आम्हाक हेल्प करून आमी चेल्ले तशें जावन तेन्ना देखून आमकां उमेद आयला तशें आमी शिकोवंक जालें म्हाका मागीर जे आमी कुडपीकार न्हू थोडे रांदपाचें हें आसा जिबेरूची
जीन असतं आमची गेल पुराय जण एक जिब्बे रूच म्हण आसता हसी जावका दाळितोय दाटा जावका हिंग फोडका मिरसांग फोडका
ओके लेट्स स्टार्ट डॉक्टर
Yes, okay.
मागीर कथा उरलें
ओके
सो आमी तेची केन्ना स्कुलाची एलमनाय आमी पडले सो आमगेले मायंडसेट सादारण सेम आसा यू आर मोर एकाडेमीक आय वॉज नॉट सो मच म्हळ्यार आमगेले म्हगेले भाव राधाकांत ता न्ही परत तितली स्टुडियस आशिल्ली तितली हांव नाशिल्लो सो
academics is one of the requirements for success. Academic is not the only requirement.
Yeah, those days during our time, it was very much necessary.
Necessary, but
Because a qualified person was, well honored in the society, given all the respect and,
true. Why?
not just to earn money.
Education had a value.
But now anyone with the basic qualification can earn a lot.
Kuda
Chances are
knowledge domain. Yeah, knowledge. At the skills domain as. Though two need not overlap. First rank चला पुढे काम मिळचे. फर्स्ट रँक राहतो IIT शिकला तक फर्स्ट काम आजी तक रँक उण असचे पुरो तक काम लायक होतस तगेल काम तो लायक होतस म्हणून प्रूफ स्किल डोमेन असलं
हें दिवचें विसरलो
ओके
यू कॅन ट्राय दीस
ओके थँक्यू
हे म्हळ्यार आमी फ्रिजात दवरचे हे म्हळ्यार अंत भितर कोवा आनी हें आसा तिकून
इट हॅज टू बी रेफ्रिजरेटेड
कस्टर्ड एपल पल्प आसा तिकून स्लायटली हें वेट्ट आसता तशें हांव भायर दवरल्यार तें वग्गी फंगस
अशी ते पुढेचे नॉलेज डोमेन आनी स्किल डोमेन पुढे एक आशिल्लें देर वॉज नो सेपरेट स्किल डोमेन फर्स्ट आयलाक फर्स्ट कामां लास्ट आयलाक ना हाजी लास्ट न्ही फर्स्ट म्हणना ताका तें काम करता समोर कितलो फास्ट करूं जाता कितलो आयकोन करता मार्क इम्पॉर्टंट न्ही सो नाव टायम्स हॅव चेंज्ड यू
आनी आतां जॉब ओरिएंटेड कोर्सीस मस्त फुडें तितली नाशिल्ले
ट्रेनिंग फॉर दॅट
स्किल्स सॉफ्ट स्किल्स चड हें जाता
चड इम्पॉर्टंट कंप्युटर आयल मागीर डिजिटलायझेशन जालें मागीर सॉफ्ट स्किल्स आर द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट रिक्वायरमेंट ताका आतां फॉर एग्जाम्पल धांवच्या गळाला फर्स्ट येतात पुरो ताका इतके खातीर धांवताना मसाला कसा जाता लंगा कसा जाता नो बडी आस इफ यू कॅन रन द डिस्टन्स फास्टेस्ट यू आर द बेस्ट यू मायट नॉट हॅव एवर गॉन टू द कॉलेज ऑफ अंडरस्टँड ऑल दीस थिंग्स
वय यू आर रायट सो डॉक्टर टॉकिंग अबाउट युअर स्पेशलायझेशन इट मे बी a repetition again and again you have to talk the same in the many places but still I am asking tumgele your father he is known for starting the tuberculosis and respiratory medicine center in KMC Mangalore
Mangalore clinic antu
right in the clinic also he was practicing mostly and in that field but my father knew your father personally and your father used to contribute articles in my father's journal his newspaper Prabhat plus in Vandanamale you are also into literature I know because since school times if I remember right you are also writing in our Kalpataru house magazine right you Sudhakar Kudwa and some others maybe
Sudhakar
3 or 4 guys
3 or 4
I remember you are classmates right
Sudhakar Kudwa and me were classmates
so you are also in literary field so the old time doctors they were known not only for treating patients but they were more into literature they were writing useful articles books stories so they used to enlighten the world very much they were all rounders I can say and you also belong to the same school of thought the old school of doctors and one thing I appreciated about you was when my mother was down with age-related problems, I can say, and she was diabetic then. She also had a little bit of asthma and some arthritic problem. So None of the doctors came home to see her then. But that July, sometime in 1991 or so, I remember in the pouring rain you came and looked at her. I think at the request of Dr. Gurdat Kamath maybe.
That is one thing I never refused a house visit. In fact, that is the best part I enjoyed. You see a person in his own environment.
Yes.
Gives a lot of satisfaction.
Yes, that I cannot forget. And after that, you are asked to shift her to a hospital. Then we took her to Jayashree Nursing Home and got her treated. She became all right. And she was coming to you for consultation many times.
I remember.
But later on, she had arthritic joint problems, so she could not come up the stairs of your clinic. Maybe then she went to some other physician. Whatever it is, those days I cannot forget. And
thank you.
Yeah, and moreover, your way of living and your way of looking at life is different than many other doctors. That's what I observed. You are not stereotyping the doctors. So that old family doctor tradition you continued, and like a good father, you are a good son. I could see both of you traveling in the Fiat car together always.
1733.
And maybe both are wearing tie then. So that was the usual scene on the roads. And we used to feel good looking at you.
I will just interrupt you.
Okay.
Many times they have asked me, why your father became so famous in treating tuberculosis? I will give one angle of his life. Why he became famous. When he finished his MBBS, he did it in Madras. He had a chance to go to UK for further training. But he looked around and found tuberculosis was killing many people. And tuberculosis had no specific treatment. So he said, if I have to serve in this field, it should be in my place, Mangalore. So he studied in Madras because there was no medical college in Mangalore. And 3 seats were reserved for students from Mangalore. So he got one of those seats and studied there. Then he had a chance to do post-graduation. He was very keen on going to UK for MRCP. But when he saw this need, he had a change of heart. He got trained in sanatorium, Madanapalli Sanatorium, and he did procedures like producing pneumothorax, putting lead shots to collapse the lung and stop bleeding. So these were all things which needed hands. It had to be done very carefully, meticulously. So he came to Mangalore, started a clinic with chest X-ray. Otherwise, patient has to go out somewhere. He may not be able to go or come back. We may be ill. So all the facilities were provided under one roof. X-ray, blood test, sputum test, and these procedures. So that patient got the best benefit in one place. People might think he did it to make money. When I grew up, on Saturdays, I was sent by my mother to clinic. So I was seeing him help people. Young Muslim ladies will come with the child, he'll give some money, buy the book. I asked why they are not our family. Said they lost their husbands to this disease. They have no source. We have to socially, we have to have a cause, we have to help others. I said, okay, I want to be a doctor. He said, you study. No, but you are helping them, you can help me. He said, they don't have a father, you have a father. This was his attitude. And first medicine to come, and a big medicine was streptomycin. Streptomycin was costing 32 rupees per ampule. It had to be brought from Madras in an ice box by train. So the people whom he used, and they lived from snatching them from sure death, they repaid by going to Madras at their cost and getting it, so that others will be benefited. And this had to be kept in a fridge. We didn't have a fridge, so it was kept in RAKMHSU ashram, in the fridge. We had a car. So night, most of these things come at night. So night, if somebody comes and my father thinks it is tuberculosis, he will wake up the next door neighbor, Achutamam, a tall, lanky guy, again helpful. So they will go on the Morris car to ashram. Now we have to wake up the Swamiji who is sleeping. Phone na, mobile na. So ek sanu pattar kon marche. Te nidal al kadan kandi marka. That should be. Ta kai kuttitli marka. Jala glass bettu na je. Ta out ante streptomycin given etta. Te patient adiuche. एक कोर्स दिताची 15 दिवसात तो सांगताची मॉल कितलं म्हणून ताजी मॉल एका कॅप 32 रुपये कॉस्ट प्राइस अँड इट इज सोल्ड ॲट कॉस्ट प्राइस नॉट इवन 1 rupee more and that time gold was costing 13 rupees per sovereign so 2.5 sovereign is the cost of one injection. Sometimes they paid, many times they paid, sometimes they didn't pay. My father said forget it, we have to serve. That is what made him what he is. It was a selfless service. He could charge anything for x-ray, anything for this, but he would spend about 6 or 7 rupees, 7.5 rupees for those x-ray, blood test, all the facilities. He will charge 15 rupees, barely covering it, and no extra for this. The whole thing was service oriented. That is what he is, and that is why he became well known in the field. Of course, that is his angle.
And when you are practicing, even though there was scanning and other facility, I think you are going mostly by the X-ray and ECG,
Yes,
right?
yes. Mostly by X-ray, ECG, clinical examination. Actually, 90% of the condition can be diagnosed with good history, 85%, and another 5% with X-ray, ECG, and blood sugar. All the new investigations put together, only 10% only in there, maybe you can go 7% more, maximum. So we don't have to do it for everyone. If we spend enough time, it is said, if you speak enough with the patient, he will tell you everything, and that he will tell you what is wrong.
Yeah.
That is why I used to go home. At home, I am not distracted. I am alone with the patient. Patient will have enough time to talk, and normally we diagnose. We come to know the patient basic conditions, their lifestyle, hobbies, how close he is to family, how family looks after. These are all very important. We cannot see a patient in isolation. Only patient. I am not interested whether he is the chairman of the bank or he is the peon of the bank. What is his family interest in him? If the bonding is good, result is good. If the bonding is not good, result is not good because he is alone. I used to go home.
That's the virtue of a family doctor.
Yes, it is a very important field. Even I tell many people now, don't go for too much of specialization. Take the field which is open. That is specialty is the house visits. Today that is not done. Many people require it. Everybody can't be taken to hospital, can't be taken to institutionalized. No. A doctor has the responsibility of seeing at home. Then if required, definitely you can shift.
Agreed, but times have changed very fast. Modern times and way of diagnostics, everything has changed now.
True.
So in that, I can say you are rare gems among those modern generation doctors. Anyway, not blaming the system. Everything has to change. The world is changing. So globalization, then corporate hospitals, all these things count. So you are better off knowing about it than me. So moving ahead, let's keep on eating and talking.
Yeah, sure.
And that halwa may be little
No problem.
little tough on your teeth. But that's the usual Taj Mahal style halwa. Anyway, so about your early days, schooling, then college education,
To give
medical education.
in a nutshell.
Yeah, you can.
Nutshell, 2 minutes. I went to many schools. I always say, no school took me full time. They said, you go to next school. I went to Lady Hill. That nearest school to my house is Lady Hill.
Yeah.
So that's the school for girls. They used to take boys till 5th standard.
Yeah.
So when I was in the 3rd standard, 5th standard boys created trouble. They made a tiger dance on the top of a drainage. And the drainage lid broke and they fell into the
down.
drainage pit. What is the outcome? They said no more boys after 3rd standard.
They
So
stopped
3rd
there.
standard they said you move. Where to move? The best place was giving the best education was the Canberra group of schools. The Canberra Junior Basic School. My best friend was Annap Naik, Manel Annap Naik. His father, Manel Srinivas Naik, was a trustee of the temple. He was a well-known politician in Congress.
Yes.
And those days, politicians gave to society, not took from society. he was a very good politician. He was like a father figure for me. He is, and his wife said, you are a good student, you are a good model for my son. So both of you should go to the best school. So they used to pick me up and drop me. 4th and 5th standard. They used to pick me up and drop me. I will never forget this gesture. And that school was more than a school. Every morning there was assembly. They will tell what day is today, what is the occasion, what is happening in India, what's happening in the rest of the world. Very good way of starting the day. Then every festival will be celebrated. For example, Diwali. They will say, Deepavali, get firecrackers. Whatever, you can get one nakshatra kaddi, one box, one big box, anything. It is equally shared in all. And each one will be given by the headmistress, teacher, this is for you. All are equal. They will celebrate Deepavali, they will celebrate Christmas, all festivals. And the craft was a very important thing. They made us to learn how to make kite. And the examination in craft was, you have to make a kite and fly it.
Yes.
So we enjoyed schooling. 4th and 5th were probably the best years of basic schooling, where we understood what is school. There was no homework. And we enjoyed going to school. Then I moved to Canara High School, Urva, where you were also studying later,
from
6th to 10th. And the face of discipline there was Anantaramrao Varkadi sir, who was a very excellent teacher, and he was very particular about discipline. And he identified the skills. He made me participate in elocution competition, essay writing. Because of him, I imbibed some of these traits. I worked on these things. And I had a wonderful time there. Lot of people, I can't remember and mention all of them for sake of time. Anbaliga, Anantaya, for Madhu Joshi was the first genius I saw. In fact, very few geniuses I saw. We used to live next door, so we used to go. I want to learn Pythagoras theorem. I am a Kanamara. Josh Master, Josh Master, he is a Kannada Pandit.
Yes.
He will explain Pythagoras theorem and rider. I thought all teachers are like that. Where took science a doubt as well. Equation. Took physics a doubt as well. Yeah. Kannada, yeah. Sanskrita, Sandhi, Samasa. He was an all-rounder. I did not know that is the rarest all-rounder I saw. He could tell anything, and he used to teach IIT students free.
That's news for me, actually.
Yes, IIT students were selected and taught. I can recall 3 people who went from our cricket team. You and I know the team who are playing. One is his own son. One is
Subraj Joshi?
No, Ramakrishna Joshi.
Ramakrishna, yes.
No,
Subraj Joshi joined the
Subraj
bank.
Joshi joined bank. His own son, Ramakrishna Joshi. And then one was Prakash. His mother used to help cooking in houses. This boy went to IIT. The greatest achievement. He could identify people. This boy is good. Call them home. Come home, I will teach. No expectation. Never took money. We don't find such people.
Very
This
rare.
is the forgetting.
Rare
So, of course, there were others. Anantaya teacher for mathematics. Kudwa master for physics. There are endless list.
Yes.
Yes.
Those are the days.
Then I went to St. Aloysius because PCB, I wanted to do MBBS. And my father told me, you want to do MBBS, earn your seat. I will pay your fees. Oh, this is a very difficult equation because he was helping so many others. He said, they don't have a father, you have a father. I took it as a challenge, went to Aloysius, got the merit. Then I got actually 2 seats. It is very interesting. There was a competitive exam conducted by KMC in Delhi and in Mangalore, 2 centers. I got the 2nd rank in that. So I got a seat. I had to pay 5,000 and fees with some 1,000 rupees per year. I went and told my father, I have got a seat, you have to pay 5,000. He said, I made it very clear. Fees I will pay, 5,000 you pay. Then where do I pay from? So he said, you go to your best friend Chandrasekhar. His father is working in the Canara Bank, he will help you. So Chandrasekhar's father went all the way to Bangalore to release 5,000.
Oh.
I took the loan from Canara Bank, joined. Then there was another seat which I got because of my merit in state entrance. I got it in Mysore, and some difficulty I exchanged the seat. So I wanted to give up this seat and get back the 5,000. My father said, go to Dr. TMA Pai, he's a good man, explain. So I took a bus, went there. Dr. TMA Pai is founder of the college. Today you can't speak to those people without appointment, security. I found his house small. It's a big house, but very simple house. I went there, rang the bell. Old man himself came out. Kasa jaira tuka? Lasesi. Bitaryo, base. Pego, I budan chala ila padadake Kaapi konadi. He made his wife give me a cup of coffee. Imagine a founder of the college and listening to a PUC boy. And he agreed for the seat exchange. He cut some 200 rupees for service charge. He appreciated and blessed me. This is the kind of people I saw. My teachers were like that. How can I be different? My father was like that. My teachers were like that. These are the things that I imbibed. He could have not even seen me. He could have said, you are wasting my time. No. These people made me what I am.
In Chennai school, Urva, your classmates were mainly, I think, Mane Landap Naik, you said.
Yes.
Then
Sudhakar Kudwa.
Sudhakar Kudwa was there.
Yes.
Then one Karanth was there.
Yes, Shivram Karanth.
His name is Shivram
Karanth. My Sarottam Prabhu.
Sarottam Kamath.
Sarottam Kamath.
Sarottam Kamath was our neighbor.
Yes, Sarottam Kamath is one of the most intelligent students I have seen.
I think he got the 4th rank or something.
He got the 3rd rank in SSLC.
3rd rank?
3rd rank in SLC. Not a rare feat, it is a rare feat. And he is a self-made student, working very hard. He had a beautiful handwriting.
Yeah, he went for engineering and joined in Roorkela, I think.
Roorkela.
But sadly, he passed away.
He passed away.
Some years away.
I can say that he was the best brain in my probably entire career in the school. He was the most intelligent student.
Yeah, he came from a very poor family.
Very poor family, but gifted student with the excellent personality, excellent knowledge, and a wonderful handwriting. It was like a print. I still remember his Kannada handwriting.
We have grown together.
Yes,
We used to play together.
Very good person.
We used to play together and we grew up together, I know.
Yes.
And many of my friends were your classmates actually.
Yes. Because
Prakash Shetty was also your classmate.
We had a policy at that time to play in the evening between 5 and 7. It was not restricted by age. It was restricted by time. 5 to 7 we play together. Right from the child who starts working.
You used to go to Chennai school?
Chennai school, no, we used to go to Gandhinagar school.
Gandhinagar school, okay.
The child which walks will stand and the final year engineering student, we pay the same team. The first chance for this child will be standing and watching. Somebody will know the child, so somebody is taking care. Somebody else also knows who is and all that. When he is in a 6 or 7 years, he is allowed to throw the ball back into the ground. Slowly he can do fielding. 8, 9, sub-junior, cub. They pay into the, if he is good, they take him into a small team. Then if he is good, they will take him into that class team, then playing team. Finally he can bat, bowl and play. And hierarchy was very important.
There was no class differentiation.
No class difference. Difference was ability, quality. If you are not good, you play day to day. If you are good, you play the matches.
True. Those were the days. And carefree days, I can say.
Very carefree.
Yeah. You used to play cricket mostly, is it?
Any seasonal game. Cricket, marbles, lagori, kutti donne, maramanga, all games, irrespective, but it depended on the season. And there was a very strict moral fiber. If somebody told a lie, you were thrown out of the team. So the price for being dishonest was very high, so nobody dared to tell lie.
True. So childhood was spent that way.
Yes.
We had almost similar childhood actually.
Most of your videos, I see the explanation in detail. That was also my childhood.
I always brood over the past and I enjoy the nostalgia. And when I meet like-minded people like you, we get to know many things.
Yes, new things.
Yeah. Like you said about Madhav Joshi, our master. He didn't teach me actually because I went for Sanskrit.
Okay, I'll give you a very simple example. There are stotras in slokas and stotras in Sanskrit. In each stotra, there is a key. The last few letters are the clue to remembering. If you reverse it, You can remember the old sloka. He knew entire thing. Subraj Joshi knew entire thing. I regret for not spending more time on this because I always felt whenever I came back from either Malaysia or Ras Al-Khaimah, I used to spend time with Subraj Joshi. Tolnek padata ನಾವು ಸಂಗತಿರ ತುಕ್ತ ಕಸಿಮಣು.
They were your direct neighbors.
Direct neighbors. And I regret that because I didn't get enough time to learn that.
Sadly, Subraj Joshi also passed away a few years ago. I had met him here nearby.
Okay.
He had come for a housewarming of Dr. Manjunath Kamath.
Okay.
And I had met him. And in Kudpi also, at some wedding we had met.
Very ethical.
Yeah. And he would start from those days, whenever we meet. Not that my brother was his classmate, my brother Kamlakant was his classmate, but he would be very intimate with me and talk about the childhood days and early days and all that. Very straightforward people, very nice. Anyway, so from Kerala High School you went to St. Aloysius.
St. Aloysius.
Then you joined the KMC.
Then I joined the KMC.
You got the merit seat. And,
To merit seat. And joined the KMC.
Yeah, you told us how you met Dr. T.M. Epai and how simple they were, and they treated you with coffee and all those things. No, those are the precious moments in life actually.
We will never forget.
Yeah, because all those greats we think that they are great, they are very simple and kind at heart.
Yes.
And very humane actually.
We used to live in hostel in MBBS.
I see.
And
so you had PPC then?
PUC was 1 year.
PUC, yeah.
So second year of PUC was then called PPC.
PPC, you had it.
And it was inside MBBS. Then we had the first MBBS, which is 1.5 years. So 2.5 years we were in Manipal.
Manipal, okay.
Then we have to compulsorily come to Mangalore for the next 3 years.
So those from Mangalore were compulsorily continuing in Mangalore. And those from other places used to continue in Manipal.
No, Mangalore was the preferred place.
Preferred place, okay. Because I think clinical and all was better here, I think. Then,
out of 225.
Because of that affiliation to Venlock Hospital and all that.
Out of 225 in my batch, 30 continued in Manipal. 195 came here. So that was the ratio.
Oh.
So we went to KMC. We studied there. KMC was a meeting point of multiple students from various countries. That is the speciality of KMC.
You can have more.
No problem. People from Malaysia, people from various parts of India, Tamil Nadu, Kerala mainly, Tamil Nadu, North India, Punjab, or Orissa, Bihar, outside the country, like people from Malaysia mainly, Australia, some from UK, US, all came because of the name. So we had an opportunity to mix and meet people of multiple cultures, multiple abilities. And the teachers were very good, and they spent heart and soul they put into teaching. That is why I like teaching. I imbibed those qualities from those great teachers who made it a point to teach well. There are two types of teachers. One, the teachers who teach. Second, the teachers whom we learn from. Those were the teachers whom we learned from. So it was very hard, like 1 in 3 will pass. The chance of passing is 1 in 3. That means chance of failing is much more than chance of passing. But it didn't dissuade us. We tried to be in that 1/3 by sheer quality and hard work. We wanted to do well, improve. Next time I must do better. That is because.
But those days you had medical books from your father's collection, or you had to go to library?
We had to go to library. See, 1 month's expense for a mess bill and stay was 100 rupees. My father will give me 125 rupees by money order transfer. It is called money transfer in bank. I have to go to Syndicate Bank, give token and take. 100 rupees I have to keep aside. 25 rupees will remain. The 25 rupees to come to Mangalore, every weekend we wanted to come. The bus from Manipal to Kudpi will be 8 annas. And taxi from Kudpi to Mangalore will be 2.5 rupees. So 3 rupees to come, 3 rupees to go. You can come only 4 times. Then 1 rupee will remain. So there was no chance of wasting money. He taught me the value of money. So 2 things I did. One, for that extra 5th week, sometimes I come in the 5th weekend, I'll ask my mother, can I get some money? So she will give some 2 rupees, 5 rupees. Plus I started writing. articles to Sudha, Kasturi. I still remember. 19 Mahatma Gandhi Road.
Okay.
That was the
Address of,
Sudha,
yeah.
Sudha Mayura. So I will get some money. I have 10 rupees, 15 rupees. Whole of my education I did that. So that I didn't have to ask. But I learned the value of money. Many times I have been asked why teachers had a much greater respect earlier. Today people don't attend class. They are not having serious interest in buying books. We have to understand two things here. One, the knowledge came only from two sources when I was a student, a good teacher and library. Today, knowledge is easily available, good or bad, it is available. It may be you have to silt it. Galangalno. Right or wrong, but knowledge is easily available. You don't have to buy a book, you don't have to attend a class, you don't have to read a book. Still you get knowledge.
Yeah.
So, to be still a good teacher, you have to update yourself to current requirement. We have to reinvent ourselves. We have to go to that level.
Yeah.
Because it is today, expectations of the student are very high. He wants to know everything in a short time. Nobody goes to a restaurant with a 5-course dinner. They want one coffee and one snack. So, they did a study in Harvard, very interesting study. They studied the activity of the student and brain waves. Sports, high brain waves. Discussion on politics, high brain waves. Interesting discussions, fighting, high brain waves. Very high. PowerPoint classes, flat. Sleep, flat. The PowerPoint classes taken with lights off and sleep had the same flat waves. And maximum attention span was 10 minutes. So today, the challenge for a teacher who has to be good is to convey information in 10 minutes. Then go back and tell some story, some joke, discuss, then come back to the topic. So we have to reinvent ourselves. So when I work abroad, these are the requirements. There is no unconditional respect which we gave to our teacher is not there. It is a conditional respect. If you can fit into that mold and teach, you are respected. Just because you may be the best teacher, you may be the knowledge, you may have a good career, doesn't mean your class will be attended or listened to. Because knowledge is today available, we can't find fault. That is why our teachers were precious for us.
Yes. They are role models actually.
Role models.
So, your base was very good and your refinement in life came because of those who influenced you
Yes.
in day-to-day life.
In our day-to-day life, so much so, whatever I am today is thanks to my teachers. Every teacher has some role in molding me. Somebody who taught me, somebody who corrected me, who fired me, sent me out of the class for discipline, all had a role in molding my personality. I am ever grateful to them.
You're right.
Also the parents, I am ever grateful to them.
Yes, your father with such principles. We can rarely find people like them nowadays.
Yes,
Even
true.
my father was also very strict.
Yes.
He taught us the value of money, value of work,
Value of
and dignity
ethics.
of labor,
Very
everything. Great times. So after MBBS, you immediately went for specialization or
Yes,
you joined your father?
No, I went for specialization. I did my MD in medicine.
I want to interrupt. I wanted to ask you, which teachers influenced you during your MBBS?
Yes.
Because we talked about Kenna Skulova,
Yes.
Kenna Bedic
Yes.
and all those.
I told you, every teacher whom I went through influenced me in some way. But the teachers whom I will specifically name, for example, are one is my own mentor, Dr. KP Ganeshan. Very strict, very disciplined. I did my MD with him 1 year, and after passing in Venlock, I was with him for 10 years. It is probably the longest assistant to work with him. Some of them wanted a change because he was too very strict, but it helped me a lot. The way of working, way of examination. Others whom I would like to mention is Dr. V. Megde, who was known for his certain qualities like brief classes with good information, a way of speaking. He was a master communicator. He could convey a message and get his job done despite there being obvious opposition. If you don't, you have some thought, he will convince you in such beautiful way that you accept it. And this is a very important requirement for any profession. Ability to speak, ability to communicate, convey, and convert the person, console him. These are all very important requirements. Third person I want to name is Dr. MP Pai. He was not a physician, but he was an all-rounder man. He was a good person, good doctor, good mentor, good role model, with all the things rolled in one. Here I would like to say something which I learned in a very long career. We think that brain controls everything. Right? Brain controls everything. It controls all our actions. It controls our heart, our legs, our limbs, our way of talking. Everything is controlled by brain. But we don't realize the mind controls the brain. We get a thought which we can't erase, we do it. Now I want to just throw this water on his face. Why I don't do it? My mind tells me this is wrong. But if the mind is crooked or wicked, I may just do it without bothering about consequences.
Perfectly.
And this is the mind. And above the mind, which controls mind, there is one thing, spirituality. It is the spirituality which cleans your mind, which corrects your mind, corrects your thought process, which in turn controls your brain. Dr. MP Pai was one who had a good control on all three. See, we have people who know excellent. They can narrate the textbook, behind, forwards, upside down, print mistake, everything. Their brain is perfect. There are some whose thought process is very clear. They can control their thought. Some of them can even control their actions, and they can control students. But the third level, spirituality, bringing it in day-to-day life, controlling the mind and thought, we have a handful of people who could do that. And I will first name Dr. MP Pai in that. A master, spiritually oriented person. I remember an instance where I was posted in his unit for surgery. In that, there was a theory class one day. One very good teacher was taking a class. She was taking a class on acetylcholine, one chemical. And some student said, this is too much, there is a limit. Then she said, stop this, there is a limit for everything, don't talk more, I am upset. He said, there is a limit for acetylcholine also, we are also upset. And it might have been a joke, but she felt very bad. She broke down and went down to the principals, said she broke down and said, they are not looking after me well. Next day when we went to learn surgery in the ward, we had a half an hour lecture on the country where women are respected, the country where people are keeping women in high level, high standards. You could not listen to one good teacher for 1 hour. We didn't have made any noise, but we were given a full lecture on spirituality, how to respect women, how to respect teacher. No other teacher will do it. They may just throw out the student or convince the teacher, but here was a person who started with spirituality and made us feel so small. You did something which was so cheap. I think this is the unique ability of that person. I have seen very few with that ability. And if we follow that...
Not many can understand that
yes.
In present times at least. During our time at least we used to feel guilty that if something was wrong.
Correct. The only way we can come back, all this drug addiction, all these habits, addictions, we can come out with spirituality. I am not talking of religion. Religion has no role in this. It is the spirituality. And that can help us to control our mind. See, you may call it yoga, you may call it asanas, yoga,
meditation.
Meditation. It's all about mind control. And then the brain.
Understanding yourself. The inner self.
We have to correct ourselves.
We have to have a dialogue within ourselves.
Within ourselves. It's the internal audit. And the external audit is others' opinion about us. We have to take both.
Correctly analyze that. And about Dr. MP Pai, I had high regards for him actually. So, very
he never made
man.
Money.
Those people, Dr. MP Pai, Dr. Keshav Pai, then Dr. B.N. Gadiyar, all those people, those days, they were really, and your father obviously. I told you, those are different actually. We can't find doctors like them. Even in the private practitioner like Dr. B.R. Agde, they commanded so much of respect, you know. They didn't demand respect.
They commanded respect with ethical work.
Yes.
Ethical work.
Yes. Great times.
Service.
Some role models in your life during medical schooling. Then you immediately did the MD, is it?
Yeah, there was a gap of 1 year, because about 6 months, because just after our internship, we get the course will begin only at a certain time. We get 6 months gap. At the time we have to work. I worked with Dr. B. M. Magde as a senior intern.
Oh.
There is no salary for that, only for getting experience. This is another thing which is becoming less now. Everywhere you can't expect a reward. I want to this, but I want something back. No, we used to work free. And the free work was considered as an honor to go there. See, I will just give an example. One example is research. Even then, research had a very important role. So, Dr. B. M. Magde was doing some research in hypertension. In all India level, he was doing some research. So, I wanted to be a part of the research team. So, I went and said, sir, I want to be part of your team. He said, no problem. Tomorrow you come to Coffee Club, I will introduce you to all people. So, he said, Dr. Raghavendra will join us from tomorrow for research. I felt very happy. I went to, he said, you go to Lady Goshen Hospital, labor theatre, septic labor theatre, and then they will tell you what is your job. I went. And postgraduate there said, yes, we know you are coming, Dr. B. M. Magde told. Your job is to get report from laboratory. Very good. You examine the patients, we will tell you the number, you examine, check the BP, every day you have to check twice, and take the report from lab. So I checked, 10 people are there, I checked BP twice, and went to the lab with the list. I want report. Sir, what report? No, Dr. B. M. Magde doing research. The young man, to give report, first you have to get urine. Oh, yes. So I went back to the ward. This place, Lady Goshen and the KMC college are about a kilometer away. We don't have pocket money to take auto or bus. We have to walk. So I again walked back, took a small bottle from the lab, came, took the urine, 2-3 samples and went and gave. They said, not this, we want day sample.
Oh.
So I had to take a big bottle, go to the patient. So that means I can take only one in a day, because I have to carry the bottle. So my job, in simple terms, was to carry a bottle from laboratory and carry the urine from here and get the report. And when the paper was published, my name was not even there. We had no expectations. The very chance of working with a great leader was the return. So the first research I did was this. And if today I am able to do something, it is because of this training. We had no expectations. Much later, when I wrote a book on chest X-rays, he was the Vice Chancellor, he released the book. It was a very successful book, and he mentioned this anecdote in the book. His first research he did with us. I was shocked that he still remembered it. And
You have written some 6 or
I have written
6 medical
6
books.
medical and 2 non-medical.
2 non-medical books.
One non-medical book is about the history of medicine and the practice of medicine, anecdotes. I will give you a copy.
Okay.
You will like it.
Okay.
And the other 6 medical books are on X-ray, ECG, clinical medicine. One on tuberculosis, that was dedicated to my father. And one recent one was on images.
Okay.
When COVID came, the pattern of teaching changed online. And there I wrote a book on images, how images can be used for teaching. Anyway, this was the experience and this was the role models I had.
A short question about COVID.
Yeah.
Do you think it is going to stay, or it can be overcome with the vaccine?
I will answer this in 2 parts. COVID was a great teacher. COVID was a great experience. Everybody should have one such shaking experience which brings you down to earth, makes you humble and reinvents you into certain things.
That's
On the
true.
9th March 2020, my university closed down in Ras Al-Khaimah. They said, tomorrow onwards don't come, teach online. I was a big zero in online teaching. I did not know. No food will be served from tomorrow from anywhere, learn cooking. Second zero. So on the 10th and the March 9th, 2020, 2 zeros. 0 in online teaching, 0 in cooking. So I went and told, tomorrow I am going home, please relieve me. They said, no flights, how are you going? So I phoned Shobha, teach me cooking. 1 dish, 1 day. She said, you have never made even a cup of coffee. How will you learn cooking? I had to reinvent myself. At the age of 65, I reinvented myself. I learned the method of online teaching. I went into YouTube videos. So the most important way of learning, improving is to see others. This lesson I learned when I started looking at videos with people half my age or less than that, doing very well. I learned a lot of new ways of conveying. We cannot be good unless we see others. We accept that, humbly accept we are not that good. Learn, imbibe things, learn and make further changes.
You are 100% correct, because during my profession, I have learned from a lot of medical students.
Yes.
KMC students used to come to me for editing video and audio, and they used to tell me some shortcut methods.
Yes, shortcuts.
I have learned a lot of things from
lot
them.
of things,
So
yes.
I always respect students.
Yes.
I tell them, thanks to you, and I mention them
Yes.
most of the times.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Also cooking. I learned one thing, that there is nothing impossible. You can make anything possible. You have to work for it. Dedicate yourself. So normally the career ends at 60, 65. Exceptionally, I have been continued. And all this is thanks to COVID.
But,
COVID was
but
a
it
great
is going
opportunity.
to stay.
It will stay. It will. It's after all a virus. The 2 years we had only COVID. Now, if you observe, we are seeing 5 diseases in children.
Mutations.
5 infections are there in children now. Eyes becoming red, adenovirus. Lungs, respiratory virus, reovirus. Flu virus. Ordinary flu. Then you have got COVID. Then you have enteric virus, the diarrhea virus. So we have got eye conjunctivitis, respiratory infection, diarrhea, all. Because 2 years they stood behind the queue. Now COVID has cooled down, all these viruses are coming up. We want our chance. But what happened to COVID? It didn't go. It has remained and it will remain. But the reason for panic is not there, because most of the people in India either had vaccine, 2 doses, or they had COVID. What is infection? What is vaccine? It is a mild infection. What is an infection? It is a severe infection or more severe. It gives better immunity. So I am sure you also had, I also had somewhere. Maybe we didn't diagnose, but almost 97% people in India had it. So you will not find a new person. Everybody has it. So chance of another pandemic is very low. But it's
But the variants, the
mutation, whatever, your body is knowing. It is like a good batsman playing a leg break, off break, Yorker. If he knows everything, he will play. He has accepted, he has seen everything. So if he is unprepared, he can't play. So everybody is virtually prepared today. But having said that, I must say, even despite that, extremes of age, below 5, after 70, these people at any time run a risk. It's not only COVID. Any infection they get, they have a risk. Yes. It may be simple flu, they have a risk. If it may be a simple infection, they have a risk. It may be urinary infection, they may get into sepsis. So that is there in all infections. So there is no need to worry about pandemic COVID once again. Well, it may come, but protect yourself. Mask, distancing, personal hygiene, hand wash, and all this is done hereditary forever from us. There was a talk on the hand washing. One person came from Abu Dhabi, one person came from United Kingdom to teach hand washing. And I was chairing that session. I told them, in our culture, we had this for centuries. We went out, came in, we had a bath. Suppose we went to see a dead body. We had a bath before entering.
Yes.
And dead body was not buried. It was burnt. Cremated. And we had all these. Suppose there was smallpox. That body was not cremated because virus can fly. That was buried. So there was a Purlala, that family where they were buried, were death of smallpox.
Yes.
And everywhere you can see the priests. They will go to the temple lake, have bath and start. What is this? This is nothing but body washing. Today we are making big thing of hand washing. Actually, our culture is body washing, head and body. So we knew this, we practiced this long before this came into practice. So 1895 was the first time they started hand wash. Centuries before that we had the body wash.
Yes.
So we have a great heritage, great culture. Only thing we don't know. We think that is good. We are even better.
So you did your MD in KMC Mangalore.
Yes, I did my MD in KMC Mangalore, and I was just wondering what to do next. My father was a tuberculosis specialist, very good name. So I was naturally, I continued that. But that is the time government took over the tuberculosis treatment. You know, when this happens, the initial part I was seeing a lot of patients and, you know, sharing this data with the tuberculosis department. Officially, they used to call me for the meetings. But I realized this is going to be over very soon. And then I had to again reinvent. So I took up allergy and immunology, which was the in thing at that time. No one was taking interest in asthma, chronic bronchitis, these things. I asked the patients, what would you like me to do? They only said you'd help us in these fields because we don't have people who listen to us. So I went into that allied field of respiratory medicine, and probably the first person to start allergy testing lung function in 1986. The second person to start was KMC. So I'm proud to say I was the person who was originated this test in South
So you
Kenya.
joined KMC as well as your father's clinic?
Both. I joined father's clinic in 1982, KMC in 1983.
83. Okay.
And they started the allergy test and lung function in 1992. I started in 86. But as you know, I didn't commercialize it. It was used freely and it was widely helping the people. From the day one to my last day, I charged the same amount.
And
I never escalated.
And I remember you used to give receipt for your
Yes.
consultation fee. I have not seen any of the private practitioners doing that in Mangalore,
Yes.
at least. You are a very honest taxpayer. You told me that time
Yes.
when you gave the receipt for my. I said the receipt is not required. Then you said no. I am a taxpayer.
Yes.
So I have to give a taxpayer receipt. You
We
said.
had to give. Anyway, those were the days when, you know, we had a clean sheet because we didn't have to have any guilt
Yes.
or anything to hide.
Yes.